you can lower your volume, Jen, while we have this really pleasant plate and ponder empty nesting Jen and Chris Fenton music as we enter another high production value episode that we lacked on the last one because it was me solo from Copenhagen, Denmark. But we are both back in our empty nest here in Manhattan Beach on a Easter Sunday evening. It's absolutely gorgeous here in Southern California. The water is placid, almost as if we're looking at like Coeur d'Alene or Lake Como on a sunset on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Anyway, we welcome everybody back to a fully loaded episode. We are going to cover a lot of topics. The great thing about it is Jennifer Fenton is back. Yes, by popular demand. Say hello.
I think you held your own.
Yeah, I held my own. It was a little low production quality because I did it with my earphones and all that kind of stuff. But what I will say is between the last one we did together and this one now, we went from 50 countries to 54.
Are you lying?
No.
For
swear
real?
To you. Swear to you.
Where did we gain?
I was trying to figure it out. I got to look at older ones, but I think we picked up I think we did pick
Denmark?
up another Scandinavian country. I think what happens when you record over there or you post, it takes you into like some sort of maybe viral algorithmic like circus or something that gets picked up wherever you are. It's sort of interesting. We already had Denmark fans and downloads, so we didn't pick up any from us downloading or something like that. But
like you listening to your own stuff?
Well, I typically do listen to our own stuff after we record it. We go on a walk to make sure we didn't say anything stupid.
Well, there's a little bit of vanity in that.
There's vanity, but I think we also like listen to it to make sure we didn't offend somebody or something. But
what would happen if we did? Do you think you'd erase the episode?
I don't know. We haven't done it yet. And in fact, even with guests, we let them listen and then decide. And sometimes we have to say, no, you need to be able to go there because otherwise it's just not interesting. And everybody is signed off. Now, I will say there's probably some guests that we would love to have you on that aren't doing it because they're just not used to having everything they say recorded and put out in the public, which we totally respect. But for the most part, 100% of the time we have published exactly what was done.
Yeah, no, we've never edited or deleted or done takes.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And once again, I want to ask everybody to please follow, download, engage, review. Please DM myself on Instagram at feeding.thedragon.
What is your Instagram?
.dragon. That's Feeding the Dragon, right?
Are
but
you
with
sure?
dots in the middle of it.
And
then the Dragon Feeder is my Twitter, and then I'm on Facebook and everything else. So you can find me no matter where, and people can find you.
I'm private.
You're private?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Well, no wonder you haven't been helping promote this podcast. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, we're open to ideas to talk about stuff. I have a million different people I want to have on, and we're trying to balance Jen's schedule, my schedule, the fact we travel a lot. But I will try to make sure for sure that we'll get at least 2 episodes out a week. But I'd like to be in that 3, even 4 range. I know Jen.
I feel like I can I don't know. I mean, I love doing it, and I love doing this with you, and it's become a really interesting hobby. But I feel like you're asking me for a commitment that I'm not prepared to give.
I haven't used that sound effect in a while, but it sort of played nicely with that. Yeah, well...
I mean, it took me a while to commit to getting married and to having kids, and...
yeah. Wait, is that exactly how it went down? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. We both waited until we knew it was perfect.
I was a baby. In fact... It's my birthday this week.
It is officially birthday week. It's birthday month.
I love my birthday so much. I actually don't even know what it's from, but ever since I was a little kid, I love my birthday. And I don't just celebrate one day. I like to celebrate a whole week. When I was younger, I used to call it birthday month. I feel like maybe as I've matured, I've pulled back a little bit, but it's not just my birthday that I love. I love celebrating people's birthdays. When the kids were younger, and I still do this with you, Chris, I celebrate birthday week. You get cards, you get something special every day. When you come up the stairs, there's a present on the landing. For some reasons, birthdays are really special, and it's not the age. I'm fine admitting I'm 48. I think I'm doing pretty well for 48. I am still not 50. And that makes me happy.
You're actually 47.
I'm 47, but in 2 days I'll be 48.
Yes. And we're not shy about our ages.
No, and if people want to send me presents, they can, because I love birthdays.
Yes, you definitely do love birthdays.
I love presents. I actually think are gifts my language of love? It's definitely one of them, for sure. I'll admit it. It's one of them.
And I think
but words of
I
affirmation,
think your husband did well over the Copenhagen, Sweden trip
so
to get
nice.
you something nice.
That was a birthday trip for both of us.
No, but there was gifts. There were gifts.
Oh, of course, and there were gifts for you too. I took you shopping as well.
Okay, so now it sounds like I got to come up with more.
No, you don't.
All right.
Don't create. I had a therapist years ago that used to say, "Don't create your own sack of shit." Right? So it's kind of like the self-fulfilling prophecy. Don't put it out there that you need to do more, because then you're just putting it out there that I'm going to be disappointed or upset. Stop. Don't do that.
We don't want you disappointed. That has happened before.
Well, I think you just put so much pressure on yourself, and then you sort of act like a dodo. It's almost like you get paralyzed and you just can't move, decide, choose, act, whatever it is. And then that just ends up being a big disaster. So, okay, I'm going to give you
the great thing is that we did talk about, like, hey, my 55th, which I guess is a big birthday. You felt like, a pizza party with the boys.
I wanted to do something.
Fraternity boys from McGill wasn't much. So then that led to, you know what? Maybe let's go somewhere fun for your birthday and my birthday.
Pause. Can we just pause for 1 second? You and I do like to travel. And you and I like to travel to great places. And when we do travel, something we do towards the end of the gift is say, like, hey, you know what should we put on next year's list? And we've done Dubai. We also like to do like 3-4 day trips. We're not a 10-day trip. In fact, was our honeymoon even 10 days? Like, I don't even
Our honeymoon was 2 weeks. We were 2 weeks away. Like,
was it?
That was the only time we did that.
I can't remember.
It was long. And we actually left Marbella early because we got sort of bored with it.
Yeah. So we're known for doing like 3 or 4 day city trips. We did Dubai and Abu Dhabi. We did Colombia. We did Cartagena and Bogota. Obviously, Paris and London and your Romes and your Florence. And last year when we were in France, we were talking at the Eiffel Tower and we said, where should we go next year? And Copenhagen came up.
Did Copenhagen come up last year?
It did.
Oh, that's interesting.
So then,
because that was before even the bear, right?
It was before. It was before Marcus went to Copenhagen to learn from the pastry chef. I forget what his name is in the show. Anyway,
but we saw his boat, his houseboat.
Yeah. So Copenhagen was on it, and that's where we decided to go in March after your pizza party, or maybe it was before your pizza party. I think we booked it on the way to a USC volleyball game, actually.
Did we? Oh, yeah, we did.
We booked it.
So they were actually here in town. That's right. Yeah. I booked the flight while you were driving. So there you go. I mean, it's not like we're private jetting around. I mean, we do it fun. We look and we shop around a bit, see what the best sort of place to go is that might be off the beaten track at that time of year. We love, first of all, I don't know if I want to give away secrets, but there are times to go to Europe that are better than the summer, put it that way. I think you get the city a little more to yourself.
And I will say, even next year, we've thrown around some ideas. Dublin is one of them.
Yeah, we've been thinking about Dublin. In fact, anybody that hears this episode that has some interesting things to say about Dublin,
just a 3-dayer. I don't want more.
Maybe
4, but that's kind of my max. Peru was another one.
Peru, Machu Picchu and Lima sounds
do
pretty
both.
cool.
I think we could do that in 4 days.
And you know what? We're getting a part of it too. Is that we've we've gotten to be fans of Delta. Like Delta, if you want to sponsor the show, feel free. But
Delta was fantastic, I will tell you. So we try and do, obviously, I say direct, but I am learning that it's not direct. It's nonstop.
Yes, direct means you don't have to switch the planes. Nonstop means you get from point A to point B without ever stopping.
I'm just going to say one thing about Delta.
Yeah.
We did not do nonstop because we could not find a nonstop.
Correct. We went through JFK.
Of the 4 legs, meaning the 2 to get there and then the 2 coming home, right? JFK to LAX, that was kind of a Bush League crew.
Yeah, that was okay. So we went 3 out of 4, and it traveled a lot, so we were able to use a lounge, and the JFK lounge is great because I'm able to shower between long legs, which I like to do. I don't know why, but anyway. So when we did have a pretty long layover, and JFK was interesting. I'm like, and we do our 10,000 steps.
Yeah, we did because we had that layover
in the legs to make sure, because all you do is sit in a chair and eat and drink. Now, fortunately, we did do some sleeping too. But anyway, the bottom line is we're probably dwelling a little long on the actual trip. So let's talk about Copenhagen.
Copenhagen was amazing. It has a special place in my heart, the way I'd say Vienna did when I was studying in Italy in college. It is so charming, and I don't know if what I was expecting. I knew because I had done a lot of research. I had picked restaurants. I had sort of built this itinerary.
You did an amazing job. Okay, so I'm the specialist at figuring out how to get the best type of flight to these places, how to get the logistics done. I have good input on the hotels when they tend to be in sort of the preferred categories that I like, but then Jen really does the research and dives into it. Restaurants, I have some ideas of where I want to go, but Jen's got a more finicky diet, so she likes to have a lot of input on ones that for sure are going to have at least a multitude of options for her to eat, right?
Absolutely.
So that's key.
And I'm annoying. I'm not a foodie.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I don't like good food, but I don't eat dairy, so that sort of prohibits things. I'm not a shellfish person, so I don't do lobster or.
You're not selfish either.
I'm not selfish. That's true. I mean, I'll do fish, but it's I'll do steak, but again, it's not my go-to. So there has to be a well-rounded menu. And in Copenhagen, there are some of the most incredible restaurants in the world, like what is it, Noma?
Noma, yeah.
But
we ate it. We found like the beauty of you. We booked the dinners, right? So where we're going, because a lot of the times we want to go to restaurants that you definitely have to make a reservation for, and then we like to walk the city. We do 20 to 25,000 steps.
Oh yeah.
Like we don't like to take cabs or Ubers or any of that stuff.
And
we
Copenhagen
like to walk
is
everywhere.
So walkable.
It's very walkable.
Honestly, even
night,
when
it's 40 degrees,
even
it's
when
pretty
it's 40
walkable.
degrees, and even at night when I was in heels every night for dinner, we were able to walk home.
Yeah, exactly. And what's great about that is it doesn't make you feel like you're a glutton the whole time, because we do a lot of eating and drinking. And during the day, our goal is not to have any reservations. We want to walk the city streets and find like these nook and cranny places to eat that just look really cool on the inside. We look at the menu, all that kind of stuff. And that
served us really well.
Yeah.
Like since our honeymoon, we have done that. We just sort of
there's
sometimes
times where we
a miss.
miss.
Like I will tell you that we had one miss.
We probably hit one that was a little more touristy than authentic, which was a little bit of a bummer, because there are some really heavily touristed areas. We like to.
It was our shopping day, to be honest with you. And
you were hungry.
I was hungry, and we were also approaching. It was getting a little late, and we knew we had dinner. So if we were going to eat, it was kind of like, all right, here's where we are right now. And I think it was a miss. I mean, it wasn't bad. It just was okay.
But we did hit one. We found one called Anton's, which happened to be a Michelin star.
It was amazing.
And we had Danish food, which was crazy.
I
so
know.
I had
Open face sandwiches are big for lunch there.
Yeah, it was like a shrimp salad open face toast. It was delicious.
And I had a chicken salad open face toast.
Yeah, and they had great wines by the glass. By the way, and a lot of people probably know this who like to drink wine like myself, but in Europe, sometimes it's just easier to buy the bottle and instead of getting to buy the glass, because they price it in a weird way where like a bottle costs as much as say 2.5 glasses. So you just get the bottle, and then before you know it, you almost finish it, or finish it.
There's no judgment.
There's
We're
no
on
judgment.
vacation.
Yeah, and we haven't had a cocktail in at least 30 hours or so.
No, I think we had cocktails in the lounge.
Yeah, but that was over 30 hours
was
ago.
it really?
It was maybe 36 hours ago.
Oh, so we're drawing out.
No, and it's why I'm shaking right now. I have the DTs. Anyway, so yeah, Copenhagen, great. What about Sweden?
Let me just finish about Copenhagen. The city is so beautiful, and I mean, I'm sure you've seen photos where there's all the different houses and the different colors along the water, and there's the charming buildings, and there's the cobblestone, and it's almost like a mini Paris, but even more charming, and the people are so nice, and I don't know. I really fell in love with the city. In fact, we're trying to figure out what to do for my 50th. And it's run the gamut from, Mexico to Marrakesh to Cayman to, I don't know, fill in the blank. And one of the ideas, maybe we're even throwing around, is let's go back to Copenhagen and ask some of our friends to join us.
I just had this cue written down as medieval, and I figured maybe it would sound a little Danish.
Well, there is.
Anyway, I don't know if it was Danish.
Because there is, like, some of the castles definitely look very medieval. They definitely look like they're from Harry Potter. We went to Tivoli. Now, what's really interesting about Tivoli, I'm saying that right. It's not Tivoli, it's Tivoli.
Yeah,
right?
And I think I talked about it on the Single Man podcast.
Yeah, so it was the impetus to Disneyland.
Yeah, Walt Disney had a big crush on it. I didn't realize that Tivoli was around since the early 1800s, which is pretty unbelievable.
But it makes sense when you walk the grounds. You're like, oh, I can totally see where he got the inspiration.
Okay, but let's talk about my favorite destination in Copenhagen, which I knew nothing about except for the boat trip they told us about it, which is this anarchist,
oh my God,
completely independent city-state inside of Copenhagen.
Okay, that's the fallacy.
But it officially has its own laws and rules. There's no policing in the area unless there's actually gang violence or something.
Let's hold on. Let's tell. It's called Christiana
Freedom Town.
And if you look it up online, it kind of looks like a hippie compound.
It was formed in the 1970s when squatters, actually it was the first squatter was a family looking for a playground that their kids could play on. And it turned out the old army barracks, the military barracks that Denmark had a playground
for
there.
World War II.
For World War II. Apparently, and I didn't know this World War II history, but according to our tour guide, Denmark essentially sort of laid down their arms and allowed the Nazis to come through Denmark, mainly because they were just completely outnumbered.
But didn't they also send all the Jews to Sweden?
They snuck this, was it 6,000 Jewish people that were living in Copenhagen? They snuck them out and they got them into the Scandinavian northern countries somewhere so that they could escape the Nazis, which was a fantastic story in itself. And cut to the 70s, these old barracks, these old bunkers, these beautiful, or not beautiful, but very nice military buildings were abandoned.
Almost.
Yeah, there were row houses, but then there were also these more military barracks and stuff. So this family finds the playground, and then they decide to squat in one of the buildings there, and then they invite all their friends, and cut to like months later, Christiana had a population of almost 1,000 people, and it still does today.
Yeah, but you say it's an anarchist city, okay? Except there is internet there. They take credit cards there. The police are there.
A couple of the places take credit cards.
They rely on the police because there was some drug issues, and it's like
they had their own open drug like their laws allowed for the dealing of drugs in the open market that they had there. And apparently, like you would imagine, anytime something like that gets known by the bad elements, not that drug dealing was good, but I think they weren't into hard drugs, weren't allowed. I don't think
No,
at
I think
any
it was
time.
just
It was
pot.
like mushrooms and pot and stuff like that. And then motorcycle gangs took over. Then there were shootouts. Then there were murders or whatever that happened.
Like across
over
the
this.
street. This is not a big town. This
Yeah,
is literally like Ventura Boulevard in the north of the, north and south of Ventura Boulevard fighting each other.
Yeah, I just have to say that as much of Copenhagen and the history and everything that was so interesting to me that I thought I knew about, Christiana was the one that really piqued my curiosity the most. I don't know if Jen got wrapped up in it as much as I did, but I had to watch videos on it. I had to like read up on the whole thing, how it got founded. There was actually a song that became famous in the 70s about it. I think a lot of these weird things that occurred around COVID, where like in Seattle, certain areas were taken over and by anarchists or whatever, I think were slightly modeled on it. But I can tell you that the people in Christiana were actually the ones that we saw and met were very, they were peaceniks, like they were hippie, like Haight-Ashbury sort of.
Yeah. I mean,
feeling.
one of the guys said, we moved here because Copenhagen just wasn't doing it for us. It was missing something. We didn't feel the sense of community. I don't think it was so much about the government. I don't think it was so much about taxes. They were just missing
living off the grid,
that connection.
But what's weird about living off the grid is
they don't live off the grid.
You can
they
see
take
gerrymandered power lines that come from one side of the fence that says you are now no. Which, by the way, Denmark is it in the EU? It's not.
It has its own currency.
But it has. Yeah, it has its own currency, and then it says you're leaving Denmark and
you're
going
entering,
into Christiana, and they have their own laws and rules and all that stuff. But then you see gerrymandered wires going across the border, which I don't know if they're paying for the electricity or not. But then
that's what I'm saying. It's a little ironic and a little I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but to say that they are
it's hypocritical.
Yeah,
in certain ways.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
But we found a fashion designer that I bought a hoodie from that is so dope. I got to say,
well,
it's
we
just
walked
tremendously dope.
It actually is. We walked into this store, one, because it was really cold. This was probably the coldest day. It was actually Good Friday. So what we did not know is everything in Denmark closes. In fact, there are 2 pharmacies in Copenhagen that are open. So in the entire city of Copenhagen, 2 pharmacies are open. There are no stores. Christiana happened to be open. So it was really cold, and this fashion designer, her store was open. So we walked in, and honestly, there was this sweatshirt that we both saw as soon as we walked into the store, and we're like, oh my God, Dylan would love this hoodie. And you're like, okay, let's look through. We're trying stuff on really to get ourselves warm. And you're like, I gotta try this hoodie on. And you tried it on, and it was pretty sick.
It is sick. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually tag. I wonder if I could tag that store.
Well, but if they're anarchists and they live off the grid, how will they even see it?
I think they had an Instagram, I think.
Again, isn't that a little hypocritical?
It is a little hypocritical.
So maybe we shouldn't tag them because we're saying it's hypocritical. I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to. No, let's not. I don't want to offend them.
Record scratch from them. And you know what else was interesting too is they had a vinyl store there that literally had original like Doors
cool.
records and stuff. It was sort of interesting, but there was graffiti everywhere. But then they had like a skate camp for the kids that are there that live in the sovereign state, and they had their own concert venue and soccer fields anyway, Christiana, look it up. I promise you, anybody that's even closely curious like myself will find it absolutely bizarre and fascinating at the same time, and you will probably dive into some sort of rabbit hole, at least for a couple minutes. So that is Christiana.
But we also went to Sweden.
What did you think of Sweden, by the way?
Well, we didn't see all of Sweden, so we should probably preface it that our day trip to Sweden was not all of it. We went to Malmo and to I think it's called Lund. I say Lund, but I think it's Lund.
Lund is a university town. It's quite boring. No, it's not quite boring. It actually seemed pretty action-packed, I thought.
It did. It was pretty busy. There wasn't a ton to see there.
But it's nice. It was all around the train station, so it was easy to get out and walk around. Yeah. And there is a church that actually I had to use the restroom, and they had a really nice public restroom there. Incredible public restrooms in Sweden and Denmark. But anyway, it was right next to a church, and I, of course, curiosity, I go, this church looks really old. So then, of course, I had to talk to what looked like a priest who could speak English, and he told me it was a 900-year-old cathedral. It was the Cathedral of Lund or something. Anyway, fascinating old village. But then Malmo.
I think it's Malmo.
Malmo. What did you think? The food? Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
Ooh, we're going to have to tag that restaurant too.
Yes. So this was one of those places, again.
Poppies, was it?
I think so, yeah.
Poppies.
This is one of those places where we did not make lunch reservations. And based on my research, I knew that there was this food hall. And you kept saying, like, what about this restaurant? What about this restaurant? I'm like, dude, I promise you, I've actually done my research. I think the food hall is where we want to be. And you said, what about this place? And we were walking around and you kept pointing at restaurants. I'm like, no, I know. I've done research. This is supposed to be a famous one, but just trust me on this one. The food hall is where you want to go. So we walk into the food hall, and it's a very fancy food hall. There's a sushi place. There's a gelato place. There's a pasta place. There's an open sandwich place, a cheese place, whatever it is. And there's a line sort of around the entire hall for this pasta place. So we're like, okay, obviously this is probably one of those good stalls that we want to stop at. I am carbophobic. I do not eat a lot of carbs. I acknowledge that. Pasta is not in like my repertoire of daily eatings. And
I mean, we sort of eat the exact opposite when you think about it. I mean, when they say opposites attract, it's sort of true. I mean, it's quite crazy. I mean, even down to the wine. You're a martini with 3 olives girl. I'm a red wine guy. I like carbs, unfortunately. You don't. You like greens. I'm sort of not loving some greens, but you've gotten me into greens a lot more than I used to be.
In any case, so we end up at this pasta place, and there's like 5 pastas on the menu, and that is it. And somehow, even though there was a line wrapped around this food hall, the owner sees us and lets us sit down at the counter. And we both had pasta. It was phenomenal.
Poured me a big old glass of Sangiovese too.
Oh my God. He was so cool. He kept coming back and checking on us. And then because you're sitting at the counter and you're watching.
His name was Felix.
And you're watching the guys cook. Anytime that there was extra, he would have you taste it, and he would bring more wine over. And we had such an amazing lunch. We probably could have stayed there the entire day.
Felix was one of those good looking alpha males that runs these restaurants now too. I would say he was a cross between, like, say, Chris Martin and maybe a character from a Guy Ritchie movie.
Totally.
Right?
100% spot on.
And then his affable sort of charismatic sort of make everybody feel welcome was great. I noticed he spent a lot more time with us than others, mainly because I think we were just sort of blown away by the experience. And he was fascinated by the fact that we were in Malmo, or how do you say it?
Malmo.
He's like, wow, who comes here from, Copenhagen? But we thought it was amazing. And by the way, the trains are fantastic there. You can get across this bridge that connects Denmark to Sweden. Over.
Oh, that was another thing. Is there a bridge? Yes, there's a bridge. No, there's not. Trust me, Chris, there's a bridge. Are we going over water?
I thought maybe it would be a tunnel. I didn't know. You can't tell from the map.
It's so funny. I think sometimes you underestimate my ability to plan.
Well, I overestimate your ability to know geography.
100% lost.
Underestimate your organizational tour coordination.
Just anything.
You're amazing.
I'm organizational to like my core.
No, it's that it gets total applause factor.
So I kept saying, I'm like, no, there's going to be a bridge. I promise you, we're going over water. We're going over water. Then you went to the restroom on the train and you came back. I'm like, see, we're over water now. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, and I guess a couple other things I would say about the restaurant's experience there. Like, if I go back to Copenhagen, if we go back, I do want to try this place, Maven, that is a restaurant built into an old chapel there. We didn't have a chance to go to it. It looks like it's part of one of those food like connoisseur restaurant
groups. They have that. I mean, in Paris, they have these restaurant groups. In London, in Barcelona.
Oh, and then what about our hotel?
Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
The Maven, though, the restaurant really reminds me of this restaurant that we drive by all the time in Montreal. And I think actually, did we go there for drinks?
I think we went there with my brother.
Yeah.
I think we now I'm forgetting the name of it when we got to do
really
that
good.
Justice.
Anyways.
Via Copenhagen.
Via Copenhagen is where we stayed. And my goodness, our room was beautiful.
And by the way, we're not getting sponsored by these people. We're just giving you a recap of sort of some fun ideas. And let me tell you, via Copenhagen, they don't have Four Seasons or Ritz-Carltons there. You got to like find your nice like boutique hotel. We found one, and I will tell you, even though Copenhagen, I believe, is one of the most expensive cities on earth, it was very reasonable. So we're not coming at you from like some hoity-toity place. It was, and the service was good, and the rooms were really nice, and it was right next to the train station across from Tivoli. And wasn't overly. I mean, it was obviously a tourist hotel, but it didn't feel overly touristy. It felt sort of cool. And
but we were looking at another
and a great
hotel.
DJ in
great
the lobby.
DJ. Yeah, you walk in and there's a DJ in the lobby. But we were looking at another hotel by the water, and I would say that's a touristy hotel too. I think to some extent, any of the hotels in Copenhagen are probably touristy.
Yeah, well,
right.
I mean, yeah, it's. I would say so, and obviously there's the chains like the Radissons and the things like that. We didn't. I
didn't even see those.
Yeah, there was one down the street. There was the Marriott that was down there by the harbor front.
But you should. Anybody who's listening, go online and look at Via Copenhagen.
Yeah,
it is such a cute hotel. Honestly,
yeah, big rep. Oh, and I will say we normally don't like to have meals at the hotel we're at because we feel like that's sort of cheating being there. But we did, we had some credits and we needed food, and we ate in the lobby, and the food was fantastic there too. So, and a good little workout place, a nice pool outside. We didn't use it.
A little chilly for that.
It was, but it was very hot, and it had a lot of people in it. So I don't know. It seemed like it was something that people were using.
Can I tell you what I think is probably the most random part of our trip, yet it was so enjoyable? Do you know what I'm going to say?
Most random.
It was my last minute ad.
Well, Christiana. Oh, our spa.
Yes.
Our spa
so
trip.
Again, Good Friday, everything is closed. And that's the one thing I didn't plan for, because I think that day we were going to go wander around and look at galleries and go to the meat packing and have like a fun, cool
we
lunch.
never got to the meat packing.
And so we're like, what do we do? You know, it's chilly. And then I was doing some research online, and I found this Danish bathhouse and spa. And I think we were a little reluctant at first, right? Because it's a whole experience. You're not just getting the massage. It's, it's not just a steam room, but there's all these pools. There was like a salt one. There was a cold one. There's the hot. There's the rain. There's the tidal, whatever, the tidal pool. And you're walking around. You have to wear these like water shoes, right?
Yes.
And you got to.
They're almost like wetsuit.
Kind of, yeah. And you have to be in a bathing suit because it's a public pool, or public pools, or public baths.
Yeah, because they had both men and women in all the different chambers.
And I think I was a little skittish. I'm like, what are we getting into? And I did get into a fight with the person at the front desk, because I'm like, no, I don't want the baths. I just want the massage. That's all I want is a massage, because I was just sort of freaked out by getting into this bath with like all sorts of people. I'm going to acknowledge that. Except that we did it. We both kind of were like, all right, we're here, like one in Rome, and we did it. We did it for about an hour before our massage. Then we did a couple's massage. And I think we're like, okay, it's probably just going to be whatever. Both of us had one of the best massages we've ever had in our life. My girl was so amazing. I think I fell asleep. Your guy, you said, worked you.
Yeah, yes, I was a little sore the next day. I mean, he was doing. Usually, I like to have a woman spot person with the massage, but like I really wanted a hard workout, and he really worked like all kinds of different methods on my shoulders and back and stuff that I hadn't really felt before. And I was like, ooh, this is going to hurt in the morning. And it did, but it, I guess it hurt so good.
It was amazing. So that was probably, I would do that again when in Rome.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then we had where did we eat that night? We ate at a French bistro. That was fun.
That's part of the chain of the restaurants that we had been in. By chain, I'm not talking like a Sizzler.
It's called Le Trois
Coquin?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe I'll tag them too, because that was fun.
We had eaten at Donna, which is the Italian restaurant.
That's right. Yep. Donna was really good.
And I wonder if Jade was part of that restaurant. I don't know if it was. So Jade was actually a restaurant. When we were at Tulane a few weeks back, there was a friend of Kaylee's who's from Copenhagen. And we had already booked the trip. So I'm like, okay, let me just run by where we're eating. And she is the one, she told us about Jade. Phenomenal. It was amazing. Honestly, that was a great meal. Yeah. We had such good meals.
We did. And I had great conversations with you.
I was going to say with who?
No, but also it was amazing. Like a lot of the people that we talked to, and this brings it back to like probably a bigger topic that's sort of interesting, but you would think you're in Europe during this Iranian war, the Iran war that we have ongoing. You would think maybe, oh, these are Americans, and there's a lot of distrust or dislike of Americans over there. And we found quite the opposite. I think people do a good job, and I'm not making a statement on this Iran conflict here in a political way. I'm just saying, I think they're, at least in Copenhagen and Sweden, people really differ between Americans and the American government, right? Like, yes. So they don't have a problem with Americans. They have a problem with the American government.
No, and they were actually really happy that we were there.
That we were visiting there.
And we didn't want to take over Greenland.
Yeah, well, I did joke around. I was like, I'm glad you guys like us because you're giving us one of your big prizes over there in Greenland. And they're like, no, we're not going to give that away. And I said, well, let's see about that.
No, stop it. We did joke about it, but you didn't come across like a total a-hole. I promise.
It did seem like, we're starting to hear that booking trips is going to get a little more difficult. There's a lot of airline routes getting cut. Although I will say we notice Etihad and Emirates Airlines not only were having flights to destinations in the Middle East, but we actually saw the planes loading up and leaving the terminal to go wherever they were going. So it seems as if there is commercial travel heading to that area. I'm sure there's a lot less that used to go, a lot less than what we're used to going there. We did see an El Al flight leave too for Israel.
Yeah, which is, I was a little shocked. I thought that maybe they had been grounded, but I guess not. I guess I had read misinformation.
Well, I think we saw that Delta maybe was not going there, or one of the American carriers. But yeah, it was interesting to see flights operating and going that direction. I always find JFK quite fascinating, especially that terminal that Delta's in, because you get to see if you go over to the other side, there are carriers that I just don't recognize the planes for. I think one was a Kyrgyzstan or Uzbekistan. Something. It was an Airbus or it was a Dreamliner, Boeing Dreamliner, which with colors that I didn't understand. And I should have gone up to a lot of the people there and shook their hand and said, thanks for listening to Plate and Ponder.
Maybe that's how we got 4 more countries.
Jeez, that would have been good. What else did we say?
What was surprising, I think we were nervous about security.
Yes, TSA security.
But knock on wood, we got lucky, and every single we were good.
Yeah, LAX was fine, and JFK we had to obviously go through customs and go back through it on the way back, TSA, and that was fine too. Although some of the special lines or whatever were closed because there weren't a lot of TSA employees available, but still the lines were pretty fast. Europe was simple. Although, now that I think of it, Copenhagen has that passport customs control in the middle of the terminal on the other side of the lounge, where you're like, wait a minute, shouldn't I have gone through that before I went to the lounge? No, you go to the lounge and then you got to leave extra time to get through a line that actually was a little too long.
That's poor planning, kind of like baggage claim at LAX. We decided, because we had been on a long flight, we were going to walk to the Uber, right? We wanted to get more steps in because Chris and I are crazy. And also we had been sitting. So we walked from the terminal to the Uber line. And there's a point in LAX baggage claim where there's nothing but stairs. How do you get your bag, which weighs like 300 pounds? I mean, if you're anything like Kaylee and you pack everything that you own for a 3-day trip, like how would she manage to get a suitcase up those stairs from the baggage claim to the street level?
Yeah, I'm going to give a total record scratch to Karen Bass.
I don't know if she was the one who designed it.
No, but I just got to say, like, okay, Karen Bass is taking credit for the LAX construction leading into the World Cup and Olympics.
It's chaos.
It's chaos. It's not even her jurisdiction, technically. I believe Hawthorne or Inglewood or one of these cities actually is where LAX resides. So it's more of an LA County thing. But regardless, there is in Terminal 3 a staircase that you have to walk after you get your bags to get up to the arrival level where you would hail your cab or your friends or whatever it is. And we were watching old people with these massive bags they just got, and they have to somehow like get up these stairs. There's literally no ramp. There's no escalator. There's nothing. It's the worst designed thing ever. So shout out to the idiots that designed that new sort of baggage carousel portion of Terminal 3 at LAX. What the heck were you doing? Anyway, we should probably close out because there's a lot to talk about on serious subjects. I apologize to anybody that wanted to come on to Plate and Ponder Empty Nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton, hoping to get some real dish on Jeffrey Epstein or the Iran conflict or Donald Trump.
I'm really
Donald
proud of
Trump's
you.
tweet this morning on Easter Sunday. He dropped an F-bomb, and oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say for that. Or, anything else that you thought was serious that we should have covered today, but we didn't because we wanted to talk about our empty nesting experience of going abroad and just enjoying each other's company. Because quite frankly, isn't that what empty nesting is supposed to be all about?
I miss the kids, but it was really nice.
It really was. So I just want to thank Jen Fenton for coming back on, because when I try to do this show
you
solo,
did a great
it does
job.
scare me. But thank you, Jen, for being so awesome on our trip.
And guess what?
Happy birthday
Yay!
week.
It's my birthday week.
Happy birthday month.
Thank
Happy
you.
almost 48, but continue to enjoy 47 because that adds up to 11. That's a good number.
Yeah.
And I'm 10 right now. 2 nickels, 55. Anyway, and until next time, we'll be back, and we won't take as long of a pause. I promise. It's Plate and Ponder Empty Nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton. We're on in 54 countries. Please follow, download, like, engage, DM me, and whatever. Shout outs to the Mavens and the Antons and everybody else. We'll put the restaurant choices and hotel in the mix so you guys can see that. And until next time, thank you. We love you.
Good night.